What's going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Trade Talk. It is Wednesday ahead of round 5. We're closing in on the last two bye weeks, obviously best 18 now for round 5 and round 6, and then we'll get a DPPs and be back to normality for a few weeks before we hit the mid-season buys. But plenty of moves being made by coaches already, obviously ahead of tomorrow night's game between Melbourne and Brisbane. And keen to see who these most trade in and out players. So let's get stuck straight into it. Just quickly though, as always, if you are enjoying the content, around here, make sure you do smash a like on the video. You guys have been smashing the likes. I think even the reviews pretty much at 100 likes already from yesterday. So if this can get 100 as well, that's fantastic. So thanks guys for support you guys showing. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. We are very, very close to hitting the 2K mark. As a time recording, last time I checked, we're at 1968. Have we added any since? 1968. So it's only 32 to go. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do by clicking the button below. But yeah, let's get stuck in. So the most trading player this week, not really a surprise, is Sam Closey. Nearly 29,000 coaches have already jumped on him. And I'm recording this obviously on Tuesday night. We've still got plenty of trades. He could be close to 35, 40k by the time lockout rolls around and during the round. But yeah, I think he's pretty much almost a no-brainer in my eyes. We've been screaming for a defender rookie to come through, and I actually thought he might have started the season. There was a little bit of talk in a few group chats about Sam Closey. I actually picked him up in a dynasty league that I'm in, so very, very happy to pick him up. But negative 22 break even with the 95 last week. He obviously rose a fair bit last week, but he's going to make a lot more cash now. So yeah, for me, he's essentially a no-brainer. So yeah, I'll be picking him up as one of my trade-ins. Sam Flanders, nearly 8,000 coaches jumped on him. That's going to keep increasing, obviously. Went to half-back last week and looked pretty good. Got plenty of the ball. Damien Hardwick was pretty happy with his ball use coming out of the defence. So that seems like that could be a role that sticks for at least the short-term future anyway. And 102 against a pretty restrictive Giants side at a sort of bit of an unknown ground up at Mount Barker. So 851k, break even 96. He's not like you don't have to bring him in this week, but I think he's a good option. It sort of makes sense if you've got like a James Jordan or someone like that. So yeah, for me, I think he's a pretty good option. A bit of sort of a mixed bag in terms of like a run. Like Hawthorn's pretty good. Yesterday's tough. West Coast at Metricon, well, Peebles' first game is pretty good. Brisbane, the Gabba, not so much. And then he's got back-to-back games in Darwin. But yeah, if he's playing this half-back role, going to get plenty of the ball, I do like him as an option. So if you can get him this week, he's quite popular as well. So if you don't jump on, he puts out a big score. It could, sort of hurt you on the other side. So yeah, I like Flanders as an option. Charlie Comben. So straight out of Comben is the third most trading player. Nearly, just over 6,000 coaches jumping on him, 6.2k there. 107, good score. I'm just 387 is a lot. It's a lot to pay. Negative 3 break even's good, but he's a key defender at the end of the day. I'm a bit nervous that he's the sort of player that could put up a 30 or 40 the week after, and you're not really getting a lot of cash. You're not going to get that 100. Obviously, it's good for his cash gen, but can he continue this? I think that it's a hard one because I think you have to launch in this week, because if you don't, and he scores another 80-odd, he's going to be near 450k next week, and that's almost probably too late to be jumping on a guy like Comben. So I don't know. I'm a bit mixed on the play. Sorry, Nathan, if you're watching. But yeah, if you've already got if you need a forward rookie, and you maybe jumped on a Closey last week, I think I'd rather the next guy in Will Graham if you're looking for just another rookie who's been brought in by nearly 4,000 coaches. It's just, with Comben, yeah, I don't know, is probably the answer I'll have to give. He could be good, but he also could put up a stinker. So it's one of those ones where if your gut's telling you want to go Comben, I'm not going to talk you out of it. But if you're sort of indecisive about it and you're sort of not sure, a bit like myself, then I'm probably just steering clear at this time. But Will Graham here, break into 463 last week. Obviously the 1k cheaper than Closey, so if that 1k makes a difference, and I guess, but Closey would be my priority out of the two. I'm happy enough to jump on a Will Graham next week if he goes well again. His break even's still 4, so you can wait another week. He'll be if he goes 70, 80, he'll probably still be under 330. We will be under 330k. So I'm going to watch one more week, and if he puts up a good score, I'm happy to jump on. And that could even be because I'll have cash next week. I might even go a Zach Reed potentially to Will Graham there to continue that cash gen there. So that could be a play that I'm looking at. But if you jumped on Closey last week, you could jump on Graham this week. You could theoretically do a double downgrading, bring in Closey Graham this week, trying to maybe cash up in preparation for round 7 when we get those defenders, those midfielders getting DPP, and you can trade those defenders like a Massimo D'Ambrosio and a Zach Williams to premium midfielders. So, yeah, I like Graham as an option if you don't have Closey. And you could get both. Tristan Sherry is next on the list. Nearly 3,000 coaches jumping on him. I think this is just a common play for a lot of those coaches that have got a Grundy and are trading him. I think I don't know, it reminds me a bit of a wasted trade now, because unless Sherry keeps going at these 100 scores, which I think he can still do, but it's not a guarantee. It's not like he's going to make bulk cash from here. He would need to continue these hundreds and that, but if he was to pop out a 70 or an 80, his cash gen's going to slow down. So he made 37k this week, which is great. If he puts up another 100 or so, he's going to make another 25, 35-ish k, somewhere around there. So I don't hate the play, but I feel like Grundy to Sherry now is not the same value as what it was post round 1 when Sherry got the 100, or even post round 2 when Sherry put up a couple of good scores, and then you could jump on him. So for me, I think it's a bit of a waste. I'd probably just rather hold Grundy for the time being, maybe play 21 this week and maybe look to do some other moves. So if that's a Jordan or a rookie fix-up, I'd probably rather do those at this point. But yeah, Sherry, I still like him, still a good option. So if you are jumping on him, I don't think there's a great deal wrong with it. I just think you've missed the boat with some of the good cash gen he's made. Already up nearly 173k for the season. Dane Zorko is next on the list. He is the 6th most traded in player. A 2k coach jumping on him. If you got Flanders, I don't hate it. It's best 18 over the next 2 weeks. He's looked pretty good. Obviously playing off half back, breaking 83, but obviously it doesn't really matter when you're bringing in Zorko. You bring him in as a top 6 forward. Obviously the question is, can he stay fit? Because he looked good in the role. He does look fit at the moment. Obviously we just know though that anything can happen. He's 35. It is risky, but hey, if you're keen on him, I'm not going to talk you out of it because he's the 3rd best forward, I think, behind Heaney and Flanders. So yeah, if you are keen, I don't mind a bit of Zorko there. Elliot Yeo, yeah, I still like it. He's still cheap, 733k. Sorry, 51 break even. Still got a bit of cash to make as well, but he's looking like if he stays fit for the whole season, he could be a top 6 to 8 defender, averaging 96. I think we wrote that the other yesterday on the review video. He was like, was it 11 or 12 or something for averages? So he's right there, and he's not too far off of the mark in terms of the top 6. So if you don't have him, I don't mind it. He's still got a 7 in front of his name, which he's still cheap. So yeah, if you don't have him, jump on board. Tom Powell, a bit the same as well. If you don't have him, you've sort of got a bit of a glimpse of the last 3 weeks of what he can do. Back 200s and then 89. Was it 89 last week? Yeah, 15 tackles. It was good to see him. I know he had a poor game in terms of getting the ball, but it was good to see him still get those tackles and put up a solid enough score in the forward line. So for me, I still like the play. If you don't have him, he's still under 700k. And I guess if you didn't bring him in by now, you probably were just looking at him to see if he's going to continue it. And, you've got a 3-game sample size, well, 4-game sample size really. So he's got a big role in that North Melbourne midfield, and I'd be happy to jump on him. So for me, I still like him as a pick. Oliver Dempsey, for me, it's too late. I know people, he's 1.6k jumping on. I do think it is too late. He's 490k. I know he's averaging near 80. He's still going to make some cash. I just do think it is too late. That it would almost be, I almost would rather combine at this point, just because you save yourself 100k and you can put up a solid score. The positive with Dempsey, though, if you do bring him in, is he's got North Melbourne at GMHBA this week. Could make some good cash. And here, if he goes at 50, 68 and 69 over the next 3 weeks, he's still going to make, 52, 67k over the next 3 weeks. I think he goes better than 50 this week against North. So maybe that's 40, 50k this week. And then, so he makes probably 100k over the next 3 weeks. Could be even be more, which puts him near 600k. At the end of the day, he still has cash to make. I just do think it is a bit late. But if you are going there, then I hope it works out because I've got Dempsey. So, there you go. Nasai Wangley Miller, Gavin, 1,500 coaches jumping on him. I like the pick. I do. 845k. I think he's still decent enough value. That puts him at a price range of what? 95? Somewhere around there. And he's going at 101. He's put up 2 big scores in the last 3 weeks. Obviously, he had that 71 sort of mixed in between there. He's either an 80 guy, essentially, or a 120 guy at the moment. I think that could be a bit of what he does this year. Obviously, the lack of marks last week cost him. Got playing the ball a lot of marks this week. So, yeah, if you don't have him, I like the pick. And, yeah, I think he's probably one of the better better upgrade options in the defensive line if you're looking up. So, if you want to pay for a premium defender, I think Nasai Wangamira is probably your guy there. So, they're the top 10. In terms of just some other options, Jason Horne-Francis, a few people jumping on him. What's his price now? I haven't even looked at Horne-Francis, to be honest. He had a good game last week with a 111. 664. If there was a chance of if he was going to get forward status, I'd like this pick more, but I don't think he is from what I've seen. So 664, it's that sort of, you need him to go bang from here. You need him to put 3 or 4 good scores in a row to make it worth it. Because if he puts out a 60 or a 70, which we've seen him do plenty of times, his cash gen stopped and it's a failed pick. So if you're confident he can go at 95 plus, probably, or not even 90 plus would be okay for the next 3-4 weeks, then you could do it. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not probably looking at these plays at this time. Like, the only guy I'm probably looking at in this price range is Lukosius in the forward line, but I want to see another week from him. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Horne-Francis, but I still think Rosie and Butters are still the 2 main guys in there, and they're going to be the 2 main scorers. So for me, I probably wouldn't go there. Marshall's a good pick, I think, if you're going Grundy up. Obviously, there's a Campbell flag there, which could be an issue, but I think we did hear that a bit last year, so maybe Marshall just is fine. He was exhausted apparently after that game, but I think he'll be okay. Jeremy Sharp, it's too late for me. 1.2k jumping on him. He's 494k. It's for a winger that's still going okay, 5 break even, but again, if he puts out a 50 or a 60 this week against Port at Adelaide Oval, which could happen, then it's just not really the pick. So I wouldn't be jumping on him now. Jack Steele, I like the pick. If you haven't jumped on him yet, obviously you've seen enough now. He's averaging essentially 121 to start the year over the first 4 weeks. He's getting expensive now. That puts him at a price range of that 106, 107, I think. So yeah, if you want to pay up, you can. I'd almost rather Bont for an extra 20-something K, but I think both are great options. If you're a big fan of Steele and you haven't got him already, then I still like the pick because you're getting a top sort of 6 midfielder, and really top 4 midfielder based on the way he started, and I think he'll be a top 8 mid. Whitfield as well, good as a solid enough option. Got St Kilda this week, good matchup. I really like Nick Martin still if you don't have him. It's getting to a point where it's going to start getting too late for you to jump on just because of how high his price is. 882 for a defender. He'll be a defender post round 6. So, but he's going really well. He's sort of a top 3 defender based on that. Is what you've got. Shees. I think he's next. I think 113.8 would be the second highest averaging defender. So, yeah, I still don't mind that pick. While my headphones have just gone flat. So. Yeah, which is really annoying, but we'll continue anyway. Bont as well, I like the pick. If you don't have Bont, I still like him. 1.1k jumping on, obviously paying a premium now compared to what... not paying a premium compared to what he was. You've now seen the uptick. The 149 last week was a great score, and he looked great, played full-time midfield, so you know what you're going to get from him moving forward, I think. So if you want to pay the big bucks of 992, is it now? 992, 105 break-even means he's not going to just shoot down in price a lot. I like the pick. They've got a very nice run as well, opening up now. Look at all these games at Marvel as well, like the Bombers, Saints, Freo, Hawthorn, Richmond. Like, they're all good matchups. 3 of his next 4 at Marvel, going to the MCG against Richmond, and he's got 5 games in a row here at Marvel. If you can jump on Bont, I think could be a pretty good play. So, yeah, I like him as well. And same with like a Harry Sheasel as well. If you don't have him, I know you're paying an expensive price for him, but he's looking amazing at the moment. He's going to be potentially $1 million maybe next week or the week after if he puts up a big 120 again. Yeah, I like Sheasel if you don't have him. I want to just take a quick look at Mark Keane here. There's a lot of players actually brought in over by 1,000 coaches. So Mark Keane obviously scored great last week. 98, back-to-back 90s, 508k. I sort of poo-pooed the pick last week. He's looking great in defence. A lot of marks though. I'm probably still not looking there, to be honest. Defenders at 500k, that range now, I'm not looking at, because in a few weeks we're going to get that influx of DPPs. But yeah, he's been good. So if you did jump on him last week, then kudos to you, because he looked good. So, but let's move to the most traded out players of the week now. So no surprise, James Jordan, most traded out player, 20,500 coaches jumping on, and that is a good move in my eyes. He was, as I said yesterday, it's not a failed pick. He still made over 100k, but no 80 plus scores really meant that his cash gen didn't spike up as much as what we thought. But yeah, he's a good trade out, and trading him to Flanders is a good one, and I like that as well. Blake Howes can go as well. Perfect time to get rid of him. Last week scored, what was it, the 30? What did he score? Was it 30? Yeah, 30. His break-even was 31, so his price stayed the exact same. 55 break-even now is above his average. This is the sort of one, the perfect week. Stars of a line, closings come and put a 95 and present himself as the option. So Howes to Closey would be the most popular trade this week, and for pretty good reason. So yeah, like that's what we do when we play this game of AFL Fantasy, isn't it? You want to jump off these rookies that are fattened, and when their break-even gets over their average, and then you want to jump on the next rookie, and Howes to Closey is the perfect trade. So I like that move. Grundy, not a necessity to trade if you've got like a Jordan or Howes. I think I'd rather trade those two, but Grundy could go if you can make a move work, maybe to a Marshall or even an English as well. I guess there's probably a question mark on maybe each, with English being Darcy taking a few more ruck contests, and Marshall with the Campbell flag. But I still like both those players if you want to jump on them. Gorney, you could jump on, but obviously the tough thing is he's got a bye next week, Gorn. So you probably wouldn't do Grundy to Gorn. So, but yeah, I don't mind holding Grundy either. Like, besides that 53 that he got in round one, he hasn't been... he's been pretty good, actually, averaging 91, 118 in round one, then obviously the 50, then he got a 90, 103, 93. So, yeah, it's not a bad sort of 3-week stretch. So, yeah, you could keep him. Breaking 80, it's not like he's going to shoot up a heap of cash, but you could hold. Nick Dacos, I wouldn't trade now if you've held him this far. If you're going to trade, it was going to be last week and the week before. But yeah, what's his break-even's up at what? I think it's still 130. He's got Port Adelaide post to buy, could cop a Drew tag, then he'll drop under 900k, and then everyone's going to pounce on him pretty much from round 7 onwards, because he's got some decent matchups here. There's a chance I might even wait till round 9 when he's got the Eagles, because Carlton could cop a tag from Hewitt, and Essen, you never know, could run a Setterfield or something on him. But yeah, from this point on, round 9, I think you want Dacos in your side, because yeah, I think he's going to go on a bit of a run, I think, of pretty good scores, and a 98 average. Non-owners are probably happy enough with that, but the 95 against Hawthorn was a decent score with a fairly loose Finn McGuinness tag, I think. So, but yeah, I would be holding Dacos. Massimo D'Ambrosio, you can trade him. I'm holding just because it's best 18. He can pop a 90. Yeah, we get those defenders, those midfielders get DPP as to defenders in before round 7. So 68 break even, unless he pops it, as I said, like an 8 or a 9. He's not going to make a heap of cash, but he's got the ability to pop out a good score. So I think I'm going to hold for 2 weeks and trade him at round 7 to a midfielder. Bit the same as Zach Williams, who's sort of a couple down on the list here. But hey, if you need the cash to go a Williams or a Massimo down to get Closey, and that gets you a Flanders on the other end or a midfielder that you want on the other end, I'm not opposed to trading one of these guys out. I think I'm trading Williams first though. I know Massimo's got the high break even. Williams has still got an achievable break even, definitely at 48. It's just I haven't seen anything from Williams to make me think he's going to just put out 100 and start making like bulk cash. He could do that. We've seen him do that in the past, but he just, I don't know, he gasses out at the end of games. Like, again, he only had like a pretty quiet last quarter again. I know that he spent a bit of time on the bench in the last quarter, but yeah, I'm just actually getting up what his last quarter was here from that game, but I think it was less than 10 points against the Dockers, because he was looking like he was, in the first half, he was on 45 points, and then he just really slowed down the second half with only 24 points in the last half. Yeah, he only had the 7 points in the last quarter, so yeah, I'd be happy to jump off Williams if you need the cash, but then again, at the same time, I'd rather trade Hauser and hold Williams and Massimo and trade them at round 7 for a premium midfielder. Matt Roberts, I'd rather hold 2.6k jumping off. People are doing it because they can probably get up to a premium mid, but he's still got good cash making. He made 50k last week, obviously saved his score, breaking into 34. If he puts up some 60s and stuff, like, let's have a look at, like, so, was it fixture? Yeah, fixture stats. So, like, let's have a look. So, if he puts up 55 to 48, he's still got 20k, then his cash in will stop. I think he goes down this anyway. So, yeah, I'd be holding. I wouldn't be trading. There's obviously an argument for if you don't have a Massimo, if you don't have a Zach Williams, if you are getting rid of a House and you don't have a Jordan or whatever, there could be teams that could trade a Roberts, but most cases I'd be holding him. Sexton can go. Obviously, he's not in the team at the moment. I don't think he's getting it back in anytime soon with the fact that Lukosius is back there now. Obviously, Flanders playing back in defence as well. So, for me, I would be trading 100% if you've still got him. Toby Pink, I think, yeah, this is probably a good time now where you could offload a guy like him. If you can do the move on the other end, obviously you've got to pay 11k to get up to Closey, but I think it's a worthwhile trade. He's going to make a lot of cash. Pink's not even in the team at the moment, so I like that play if you've got a Toby Pink in your side. And then Lazaro is the 10th most traded player. I would just wait, to be honest. I know a lot of people are saying trade him. Yeah, he's a priority, but if he comes back in, break even to 20, still got a little bit of cash to make. It sounded like it was more of a quad thing last week. It said dropped on the app last week, and in the team lineups it said dropped, but I think it had a bit more to do with that quad. I'm hoping he comes back in this week, so it means McKercher will go back to that half-back role more than likely. So hopefully Lazaro comes back in, but obviously if he's not in, you could go him to a comban potentially, or if you've got some flexibility with your utility being a mid-forward or a forward, you could bring in a Graham or Closey in your utility. So you could do that as well. Just some other players as well. Obviously, you're seeing a Caulfield and a Reed. Both can go because obviously we've got Closey now, so they're good trades. I'm sure, yeah, Marty Hawes there as well. Salem can go. Got a bye next week, and he's dropped some back-to-back poor scores. His break-even's up 107, so he's now bleeding that cash that he made, and he started at 700k. If he has a bad week and goes down to 700k, you've got nothing. So yeah, I'd be trading now while you're up still a little bit, and he's got the buy anyway. So yeah, he can go. Goulden, I'd be holding if you've got him. Nick Watts can go. Heaney, I'd be definitely holding as the likely number one forward if this role continues. Billings can go. Dean can go. I think Wardlaw can go as well. Papley can definitely go. Obviously on buy. A few people might have started him with that easy run, but he can go with that poor score last week. And the final one I'll chat about is McKercher. I wouldn't be trading. I know his break-even was up at 38 and he scored a 50 last week. Especially if Lazaro comes back in, I think he'll move back to his half-back role. It could be a thing where maybe next week or the week after, if he puts up another poor score, we could look at trading. But I think give him one more week. Brisbane at Norwood is a tough matchup as well. So Geelong at down GMH Bay is a bit tougher, but then obviously you've got Hawthorn there, St Kilda, Gold Coast, Essendon, a few decent matches. Crows could be interesting at Blundstone. Obviously, a few things got the Crows at the moment, so we'll have to see how that goes. But the run's not too bad for McKercher. I would be holding if you've got him as well. So I think there are a few more priority trade outs there. My top 5 options for the week. Let's have a bit of a look at what my top 5 picks would be. Number 1 has to be Closey. Number 1 target this weekend for good reason. Obviously, nearly 30k jumping on him and a negative 22 break even. The defender Ricky we've been crying out for. Look great on a wing. Yeah, for me, I know there's no such thing as a must-have, but he's pretty close to that. So he's going to make a lot of good cash and a good option. Number 2, I think it is Sam Flanders. I think the fact that pretty much all of us have got James Jordan, it's an easy... Most cases, it is an easy enough switch to go Flanders up. Jordan up to Flanders. Obviously, if you don't have the cash, you can maybe find a way by Williams or a Massimo down. But I think Flanders is the top premium pick for this week, so I'd put him at number 2. Number 3, I think I would have Will Graham there, just because if you jumped on a close, you're doing a double downgrade. I think he's a good option. Looked pretty good last week. Got some CBAs, I think, as well. Actually, I think he took Flanders' role essentially in that midfield, which was good to see. And defender mid playing in the midfield for Gold Coast, they always do keep a tight midfield mix there as well. So if you want to jump on Will Graham, if you already got a Closey could be an option. Yeah, 17 CBAs, like Tuke 22, Rao 27, and Anderson 31. Humphrey had 8 as well, and then that was it. That was what, yeah, as I said, what, 1, 2, yeah, 5, only 5. Yeah, so I like the Will Graham pick. If you've already got Closey, and I'm keeping a good eye on him this week. Number 4, this is where it gets a little bit trickier for me. There are a lot of good options that you could consider. I probably would I'd put Tom Power there if you don't have him, just because the lack of forward options. He's still getting it done. If you don't have him, it's not the final week to jump on him, but it's the final week to really sort of get good value for him, because he's going to be over 700k next week, and you're not going to get that value. So for me, I would have him at number 4. And number 5, I'll probably put Comben there just because he's got that -3 break even, but I'm still a bit unsure of the play. But it's sort of, I guess the other options are very much team dependent, right? So like Sherry could be a move if you want to just go Grundy across. Yo, if you didn't have him, is still a decent option. Zorko could be a good option in the forward line along with Wangani Miller. Marshall could be solid. Steele, Whitfield, Nick Martin. I really like Bont if you can afford him. He's got a good run, as I mentioned before, coming up as well. So a lot of good different options this week, but I think it's the top sort of 3, like Closey, Flanders, and Graham, a really good option. Then Powell if you don't have him, and then it's pretty much put a blanket over a heap of other options. But I'll put Comben in there with the low break even. So they're my top 5 options. My trades this week, I'm literally bringing in both the most traded in players and trading out the most traded out players in Howes and James Jordan. So yeah, I'm going Howes down to Closey and Jordan up to Flanders. I've still got a good chunk of change of 230 odd K in the bank. So if I double downgrade next week, that puts me in a good position to upgrade a Musamo or a Zach Williams the week after to a pre-midfielder. I've got money to go get Will Graham next week if he puts up a good score and I like what I see. Yeah, it's a good position to be in. My team is in a good spot to make these moves. So yeah, I'm sure that the bullets and stuff are going to come at some point. I've been pretty lucky so far. Been in the matrix a bit, dodging all these bullets, but we'll have to see how we go. Hopefully we don't get any bullets anytime soon. Hopefully you guys don't get any bullets as well. But let me know in the comments below all your trade questions, all the trade questions you guys have got. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll get to answering those. I'll try and get them as best I can before Thursday night and Friday night before we get games. And yeah, let me know in the comments as well who your top 5 options would be, and any other comments you want to put in there, let me know there. But if you did enjoy the video, make sure you smash the thumbs up. They're very, very much appreciated. If we get 100 on the trade talk, this would be fantastic. We've been hitting 100. Actually, let's go 150. Let's go 150 likes on here. You guys have been hitting 100 with ease on these videos, so thank you for the support. And yeah, if we can get 150, that'd be great. 200. We'll have to see how we go. We might even get 200. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed as well, 32 subscribers away from 2,000. So please, if you can, and haven't subscribed, and if we can help reach that goal, that'd be I'd be forever grateful. So thank you very much to everyone that subscribed so far. Me and Tim, we're back on Friday for our usual pre-lockout chat. That'll be at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time now. Not the daylight time now. We've got to change over from that. And then that will be 4 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time. So make sure you guys tune to that. Me and Tim will be answering all your questions, so make sure you tune in. And then the watch-along will be on the Saturday night. So what game have we got coming up this week? We have got Saturday night, Gold Coast Hawthorn or Port Adelaide and Freo. It's funny, normally it'd be Port Freo. Could be Gold Coast and Hawthorn because there's obviously new Gold Coast guys. And I've just brought Flans in, so who knows. But I might put a poll out and see what people would rather see. But yeah, make sure you guys tune into that on Saturday night. But thanks guys for tuning in. Make sure you go and follow the socials at BallsDT, pretty much all of them. But go follow those as well. And check out all the content creators, coaches previews as well. They've been releasing over the last couple of days and will continue over the next few days. So make sure you check those out as well on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram as well. So, but yeah, thanks guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on Friday for pre-lockout chat. So I'm out. Cheers.